Hello there, this is a video tutorial on how to set up a NodeJS miner for Nimiq on a VPS. I'll be using this guide written by Porkachu that is published on the Nimiq community website. At the bottom left hand corner, I will have a number or letter which corresponds to where we are in the guide, so you can skip around if you encounter a problem elsewhere. If you can follow the guide with no issues but want more specific help, there are times on the screen which you can skip to for those sections. What you would need is a virtual private server, a domain name, and an SSH client such as PuTTY for Windows. I believe Mac and Ubuntu have a built-in SSH client in the terminal. I will be using Amazon AWS because they offer a free tier for me to demonstrate this tutorial, PuTTY as my SSH client since I'm on Windows, and Freenom for my domain name registration. Go ahead and create an account for the VPS service. On the Amazon AWS Management Console, you'll find an option to launch a virtual machine. Select EC2 instance and name it what you want. I'll be naming mine Nimiq Video. Select Ubuntu Server 16.04 LTS as your operating system. T.2 Micro is the free tier eligible instance type for Amazon, so I'll be sticking with that. Amazon uses a private key to verify any user login, so name it what you like and download it. Keep this somewhere safe for later. Go ahead and create the instance. Go ahead and proceed to EC2 console. Here you can see an old one I terminated and a new one I just created. Head on over to security groups and change inbound traffic to accept SSH from only your IP and HTTP and HTTPS to all traffic. Head back to the Instances tab and right click on the one you just created. Select Connect and there are instructions provided by Amazon to connect to your newly created instance. Open up PuTTYGen by searching for it in Windows. I have mine pinned to the taskbar. Press the load button and find the file you just downloaded. You will need to switch the file type to all files to find it. Make sure it is set to RSA and 2048. Click Save Private Key afterwards and save it to where you can find it next time. To connect to your server, open up PuTTY. In the hostname box, copy-paste your public DNS IPv4 found on the instance page. Expand the SSH tab and head on over to Auth. Find the private key you just generated and load it into PuTTY. I'll be changing the size of the font so it's easier for you to read. You can save the session so you don't need to redo all of those steps by naming it in this box and clicking Save. Click Open and see if you can connect to your VPS. Amazon has the default login of Ubuntu. Your VPS may have something different. At this point, we've already completed Step 1, connecting to your server. Step 2 involves us securing the server. We'll be creating a new user to avoid the default login and doing our work in the new account. Start off by creating a new user with your desired name. I'll be using Nimiq. Go ahead and enter the command add user Nimiq and follow the instructions in the console. Next, give it super user privileges by entering sudo usermod -a G sudo Nimiq. Now switch user to the new one you just created. You can either close this SSH session and relog with Nimiq, or since we have the private key authentication, you can switch over by entering su Nimiq and entering the password. Switch over to Nimiq's directory by entering cd tilde. We will be securing our server with uncomplicated firewall, or UFW. Let's quickly run sudo apt-get update and sudo apt-get upgrade. If you see this screen pop up, that means your VPS has a different variation of that file. Go ahead and just keep their variation. Now install UFW by entering sudo apt-get install UFW, and to allow SSH, type in sudo UFW allow SSH. Enable UFW by entering sudo UFW enable, and to make sure it's active, type in sudo UFW status. As you can see here, the status is listed as active, therefore we've done our job right. By now we've finished step 2, now onto obtaining a domain name. I'll be using Freenom like demonstrated in the guide. Go ahead and open them up in a new tab. Enter in the domain name you'd like to register. I'll be using Nimiq Video, and select the extension you want. Click Checkout, and on this page, click on Use DNS. Go back to the AWS Management Console, and where it says IPv4, public IP, copy-paste that into both boxes. If you forget to do this step, or you're using an IPv6 address, I'll show you how to do that again later. Follow any instructions to register a new account. Enter in any personal information, and check your email. It is possible for this to show up in spam. After you've registered the domain and successfully checked out, you can double check by going over to the Services dropdown and selecting My Domains. To edit the IP address you entered, or to enter in an IPv6 address, click on Manage Domain and then Manage Freenom DNS tab. You need to have both an empty one and a www written in on the left, both type A. Enter in the IP address you found earlier. To enter an IPv6 address, go to the Add Records and change the type to AAAA. Follow the same idea as the IPv4 address. Perfect, we've completed the first half of step 3. Now we need to install Nginx so the domain name has something to display if connected to. Connect back to your VPS and enter sudo apt-get install Nginx. Next, we need to allow Nginx through UFW, so enter sudo UFW app-list to make sure Nginx is in there. Next, enter sudo UFW allow apostrophe Nginx full end apostrophe. Check to see if it's working with sudo UFW status. Check if your domain has something to display by entering it into a web browser. It may take a few minutes to several hours. If it hasn't shown anything in 24 hours, then you may have encountered an error. Now on to step 4. We need an SSL certificate to run the miner. To do this, we'll use EFF's certbot, which makes it ridiculously easy. Enter in the command sudo apt-get install software-properties-common. Nextly, enter sudo add-apt-repository ppa:/certbot. I accidentally entered in PAA, which is why it didn't work the first time. Run sudo apt-get update once more, then sudo apt-get install certbot. Now run the following command with the appropriate areas replaced with your domain name. So where I've entered nimiqvideo.tk, replace it with your domain. Enter in sudo certbot certonly standalone -d domain name -d www.domainname and follow the instructions on screen to generate your SSL certificate. If everything went well, you will see a congratulations. Now to test the certification renewal works, enter in sudo certbot renew -dry-run. If that runs without error, then you're golden. If it has an error, I suggest waiting a little bit to make sure your domain name is visible and capable of being connected to, then rerun that command. Lastly, you need to change the permissions of the files generated by certbot by entering in sudo chmod 755/etc/let's encrypt/live, and the same thing again except changing live to archive at the end. Now on to the fun part. Step 5. Installing Nimiq NodeJS miner. We need to install the latest version of NodeJS and Gulp. To do this, entering curl-s uppercase L https://deb.nodesource.com/setup_9.x -o nodesource_setup.sh. It'll download the bash script that we need to execute by entering sudo bash nodesource_setup.sh. After that's completed, we need to install the other requirements by entering in sudo apt-get install nodejs build-essential git. After that's done, we'll need to install gulp by entering in sudo npm install-g gulp. You can remove the node source file by running rm nodesource_setup.sh, as we won't be needing it anymore. Finally, we can download the Nimiq core. Head over to the directory you want to download Nimiq to. We'll be using the home directory. Type in git clone https://github.com/nimiq-network/core to download it to the current directory you're in. Head inside it by typing in cd core and switch the branch by entering in git checkout release. Type in npm install and grab yourself a coffee or tea. If you encounter this error, no worries. Copy that command shown in blue npm provided and run it. Rerun npm install and wait some more. When that's done, run npm run build, and when that's completed, you're ready to start your miner. Navigate into the NodeJS folder. You should still be inside the core folder, so you can enter in cd clients, and inside you'll find a Node.js folder. Enter cd Node.js to enter that. The very minimum to run the node, you can enter in the following command: node index.js --host domain name --port 8080 --key /etc/let's encrypt/live /domain name /privkey.pem --cert /etc/let's encrypt/live /domain name /fullchain.pem minor equals 2. I use minors equals 1 in this video so I can keep recording without having the system hiccup, and as you can see, I forgot to enter an E while entering PEM on that one part. Now it is working correctly. You'll quickly see your wallet address pop up as the node continues downloading the chain. Don't worry if it fails to connect to other domains, that is expected. You can see the height of the chain by visiting nimiq.watch. This number is the amount of blocks it needs to download before it starts mining. Once it reaches the end, you'll see your VPS mining. Now we're going to install PM2 to allow the VPS to continue mining after we've disconnected. Exit the miner by pressing Ctrl C and type in sudo npm install -g PM2. Now modify the command that launched the miner by including PM2 start index.js space host and so on. To see the miner active, type in PM2 list and see the process and PM2 logs to see the last 15 outputs of the miner. You can safely disconnect from your VPS and it'll continue mining. In the event of a restart, you can configure PM2 to automatically launch the miner when the system is ready. Enter in PM2 startup systemd and run the command provided in the output. Make sure that the miner is already running in a PM2 instance, then type in systemctl status PM2-Nimiq to check if it's active. You can now test this by rebooting the server. Inside the AWS console, you can right-click your instance and set it to reboot. After it's done rebooting, connect back to your VPS and run the command PM2 list to see if it is currently active. Now if you want to stop the PM2 mining instance, enter in PM2 list to get the process ID. Afterwards, enter in PM2 stop and the process ID the miner is listed in. Double check to see if it's stopped by typing in PM2 list once more. If you want to increase the number of threads, the number after the minor equals argument, you might need to increase the thread pool. By default, the max number of threads is set to 4. To override this, enter in the command export space capital UV underscore thread pool underscore size equals number, where number is the threads you want to set. Now you can run the miner with the same command as before, but changing the minor argument to the number of threads you want. Keep in mind that if you max out the number of threads, it may render the system unresponsive, so I suggest keeping it a little bit lower. If you plan on running the NodeJS miner on a personal system, you can run it locally with a self-signed SSL certificate. It is not suggested to do this because it will lead to centralization. Other nodes cannot connect to your backbone node without a domain name and a public static IP, so do the following steps for testing your hardware. I'm following a guide on Heroku that you can find in the description to generate a certificate for us. What I have on the screen is a virtual machine running Ubuntu desktop with the Nimiq core downloaded and installed, essentially halfway into step 5. Navigate into the directory you want to generate your SSL certificate. I'll be doing it in the home directory. Check to see if you have an OpenSSL library by typing in which OpenSSL. If something pops up, then you're good. Otherwise, you need to run the command sudo apt-get install OpenSSL. Since I already have the library installed, I won't be running that command. Type into command OpenSSL genRSA-des3-passout pass:\x-out server.pass.key 2048. Next, type into command OpenSSL rsa-passin pass:\x-in server.pass.key-out server.key. You can rename the server part to what you want. I'm just following the guide for reference. Now remove the server.pass.key by running rm server.pass.key. The next step is OpenSSL rec-new-key server.key-out server.csr. Follow the instructions on screen. When it asks for a challenge password, you can leave it blank or enter something. Since it is self-signed, you may leave it blank, but if you were to ever reinstall your certificate, you'll need that password. After all the steps, generate the certificate by typing in OpenSSL x509-REQ-SHA-256-days365-in server.csr-signkey server.key-out server.crt. This is the file you'll be using later. Change the directory to where the NodeJS miner is. To launch the miner, you'll be running a similar command but replacing the host with localhost and the key and certificate with the file path pointing to where you generated them. As you can see, my miner is now up and running and downloading the blocks. You successfully started the miner without a domain name and with a self-signed certificate. I highly suggest you find a way to provide yourself a public static IP and a domain name, as this leads to centralization like I mentioned earlier. This should be used for only testing purposes to see if the hardware is working. If you want to find out the wallet seed of your Node.js miner, you can do this by modifying the index.js file to print it out at the beginning. Open up the file in a text editor such as nano, or if you're brave enough, vi, and find the line that says const wallet equals wallet seed question mark await and etc. After that line, type in console.log open parentheses quotation marks wallet seed space quotation marks comma wallet.dump open and close parentheses and close parentheses semicolon. Save and exit the file. Run the miner and you'll see it print out near the top. Copy paste that somewhere if you want to import it for later use. If you want to use it in your browser, go to the miner webpage and open up the console. Doing this will override whatever wallet your browser has, so if there's any value inside the wallet, I suggest exporting it first before doing the next steps. The command I'm about to enter can be found on Nimiq's frequently asked questions page. It's also displayed on the screen. Replace the appropriate area with the seed and paste it into the console and it will reload the page. As you can see, my wallet now has a value of 0. If you click on the wallet button, it will display your wallet address. It matches the address my miner displayed earlier. Whenever your Node.js miner successfully mines net or nim in the future, you'll be able to see it in the browser. If you want to use the wallet your browser is currently using, you'll need to export the private key. As you can see on the screen, this is my current wallet address in the miner. Doing the next steps will change that address to your browser's and remove any balance that you have on the Node.js miner. Open up the browser and head over to the miner webpage. Export the private key by opening up the console and typing in $.wallet.dump open and close parentheses semicolon. It will print out the private key in the console. Copy paste that somewhere. Open up your miner and this time run the launch command with the wallet-seed argument. I'll be putting it after the port 8080 argument. After typing in the --wallet-seed argument, copy paste the private key from your browser. Hit enter to start the miner. Now you can see that the wallet address has changed and it matches my browser's address. If you need more help, you can visit the community on Telegram and Discord. Their appropriate links are displayed on screen. There are other social media connections you can find at the bottom of the Nimiq homepage. We'll be happy to answer any and all questions you have.